Have you ever made a loud screeching sound while you're playing your cello? Me either. But for our friends who have, today I'm going to show you why that happens and how to keep it from happening again. The reason that a musician plays music is to make sound, so how do we make a beautiful sound on the cello? I can tell you it's not with this hand. The left hand makes no sound. It took me a long time to realize that all sound comes from the right hand and the right arm, and by the end of the video, we should be able to make a beautiful sound on any note on the cello. So there are 4 factors when determining how we sound: bow angle, weight, speed, and contact point. Using a combination of these factors is kind of like cooking. You add a pinch of this and a spoonful of that, and you adjust your recipe until you find your own sound. Feel free to try these steps with me as we go through the video. Also, if you haven't watched the bow hold video from last week, definitely check that out before we get started here. For everything in this video to work properly, you're going to need a nice, flexible bow hold. Before we talk about the 4 factors, let's quickly discuss the mechanics of the bow arm, because having good mechanics in our bow arm will allow us to manipulate the 4 factors. We're going to think about the bowing motion from big muscle groups to small muscle groups. And actually the biggest part is not even in your arm, it's in your back, even in your lower back. When you're using small muscles, they get fatigued really easily, so we want our cello playing motion to initiate from those big muscles in the back. And actually if you reach your left hand over your right shoulder and touch in between your shoulder blade and your spine, you might actually be able to feel the muscle flexing when you make a bowing motion. Next we move to the upper arm, which lets us bow from the frog out to the middle of the bow. And this is going to be our chicken wing. From here we extend the forearm so that we can bow all the way out to the tip. And obviously we don't bow in 2 completely disconnected motions like this. We blend them as the bow moves out to the tip, and the fingers will have structure but are reacting and relaxed. Now, factor number 1 is the angle of the bow. This can make or break your sound, and the general theory is that you want to keep your bow parallel to the bridge, making a T with the strings. No weird angles, either up or down. This lets the string respond quickly and freely, and will help the bow moving in a straight track through the whole bow stroke. Here's an example of a straight bow all the way out to the tip. This can be hard to see from the angle that we're sitting at, so get in front of a mirror or record yourself on a phone to see this. The second factor is weight, which is just letting your arm feel heavy. This is plenty to make a huge sound on the cello, and we never need to push down. To feel that weight, I like to shake out my arm and let it hang at my side, and then I'm just going to plop the bow down on the string and drag the bow out to the middle without pushing at all. Now from here, we have to use something called pronation, which is basically turning your wrist towards yourself, which is going to transfer the weight from your arm through your first finger. It's like looking at your wristwatch. So here I'm going to gradually use pronation as we get out to the tip. Now here's an example of me gradually shifting from weight to pronation as I move through the whole bow. The third factor is bow speed. If you bow too fast, the bow will just skate over the string, especially if you start fast at the beginning of the note. This is what that would sound like. Too slow and you get a crunchy sound. The right combination of weight and speed will give you a nice full sound throughout the whole note. The last factor is contact point. As we shorten the string by putting our fingers down, the bow has to move proportionally closer to the bridge. An open string is this long from here at the nut to the bridge. But if I put my finger here, now the string is only vibrating between this point and the bridge. So I would need to move my bow, if I was here on an open string, maybe to here for this note. Or here for this note. As a basic range for first position, I would bow somewhere between the end of the fingerboard and halfway to the bridge. You can divide this area into tracks, and the goal is to keep the bow moving through the same track for a nice clean sound. By combining these factors, you should always be able to find the sound that you're looking for. So if something doesn't sound right, I always check the 4 factors first. Adjust the recipe until you find the combination you're looking for, and happy practicing.